And welcome back to the Gateway to the Best, the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships here in beautiful St. Louis, Missouri. It is my honor, and I'd be Bob Noxious, to sit next to Ms. Spider.
Why, hello, Bob Noxious.
How are you, Spider?
I feel like we've met before somewhere.
I think we have. I think there's some truth to that. But, however, because I went to Segway school, I'm going to say that I don't think these two teams have met before.
No, they have not. Not ever.
Nope. We are going to see Mass Maelstrom against the Puget Sound Outcasts. This would be originally the number 8 team versus the number 5 team. We are playing at this point for position.
Yeah.
Both of these teams have been eliminated from a shot at the championship. As we saw earlier, the Misfits also eliminated. They will play in the next game, and so we know that our championship is going to be the Gatekeepers, the home league, and Your Mom Roller Derby. So your top 2 seeds.
Indeed.
And it is not going to suck.
Yes. It will not suck. It will be fantastic.
It's going to be a great time.
The bout now, just looking for those 5th and 6th spots.
Yes.
And so Puget Sound Outcasts looking to maintain the position that they came in on.
That's
regardless, right. Massachusetts
moves up. Yeah.
At least 2 spots because they started out at 8th place, as you mentioned, coming in, or 8th seed as they came into Gateway to the Best.
And, of course, if you've been listening throughout the weekend, you'll know that we have talked an awful lot about this Massachusetts team because they played 13 games. They basically kept playing until they got to St. Louis. That was pretty much their motto, or their trademark statement for the season.
Well, it definitely worked out in their favor because here they are. Teams lining up currently. We are going to have the Puget Sound Outcasts sending in Chuck Hollywood Hendrick.
That's right. Chuck, who he's been around Derby for a little while.
Just a tad.
Yeah, Chuck, actually the original coach of the original travel team coach anyway, the Rat City team. I remember Chuck from way back in the day.
And he now coaches actually for a Dockyard Derby Dame home team currently.
Oh, I did not know that. Dockyard Derby Dames out of Tacoma?
Yes, they are. Tacoma, Washington.
I've had the opportunity to see Dockyard out at, I believe, Boise.
Yes.
So, it's amazing. My memory's only good for one thing.
Roller derby.
Yeah, I know.
Well.
Otherwise, it pretty much, forget about it. Where'd you park your car, Bob? I don't know.
So the Outcasts will be wearing the blue and yellow.
They will. And the white and blue will be the Maelstrom.
There is the whistle indicating that we are about to get this bout underway. Waiting for that 5-second call. There it is.
And we're going to start with split pack. And scrum start. Chuck looking for some room on the outside. He's not going to get Jack hammered. Has got him totally pinned.
Western trying to get around Cougar Bait, stand aside, and Ryrod at the front. Ryrod indicated to Cougar Bait to let him go, and then he tried to shoulder check him out of bounds, and he was successful in getting around, so that's Western. Oh, a major cutting the track penalty.
So he did cut the track. The jam ref is, we got 2 of them.
So
this is drag racing, folks.
Western's going to sit down. Hollywood also got called on a cutting the track major, so he's going to sit down, but he'll only sit in as long as Western did, and it was mere seconds. Western now making his way back to the pack, re-enters behind them. Ryrod, Cougar Bait stand aside, and Quadzilla all holding that back line.
Oh, his head snaps back from that shot.
Yeah, I think that was stand aside that dealt that knock around.
In the meantime, Hollywood Chuck Hendrick is back on the track. And as is generally the case coming out of the penalty box, that first pass was pretty easy, and he could get around. Nice move. Chuck, who's been walking pretty gingerly, is still pretty smooth on the skates.
Yeah, he will not give up. It's do or die for Hollywood. Stand aside now, pulling out in front. Massachusetts from that wall in the middle, and the pivot who knocked out Hollywood.
That's deep inside her.
He moved way back to go Hollywood, back to the back of the pack, and then
oh, look at that. Oh, nice skip. That should say 747 on his back.
Except for he's going to get called a major penalty. He's headed to the penalty box. That's the second time in one jam, so he's going to take a seat. 20 minutes and 8 seconds left in the first period clock. And Hollywood with already 2 trips to the penalty box. And
we've got a no pass, no point. Assessed to us. That rhymed. I should be, you know.
A poet?
Yeah, I was going to say hip hopper, and then I realized, yeah, that wasn't going to happen. I'll stick with poetry.
Fair enough. The time has passed for that.
Yeah. Well, at least with poetry I could sit and ponder. Freestyling would be, that would cause a problem. I love Spider to death. I really do. But the great thing about working together is she always looks at me at least once like I've totally lost my mind.
Well, because I know that you have.
Yeah, and we have started here, and right now we've got No Big Deal, who is trying to get himself. Look at that. A nice move around the outside of Gino, I believe.
Rontail was doing a really nice job for Massachusetts on the inside lane. Mike Patrick-Chillard there out in the back working with deep insider striker.
Oh, interesting strategy. They leave the inside line open, so that's what you think he's going to take. He cuts to the outside, and then all his blockers lead a train in front of him.
That was a beautiful move as he makes his way around Bonus Jonas and just clips that outside line. Gino Guerrero now standing out of bounds as Radulac also gets pushed out of bounds.
Oh, nice work with the toe stops. It actually was a pretty big deal. He should give himself more credit.
From no big deal to the biggest deal.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to want to lead your body ahead of Chuck, because he's probably going to hit you. Oh, no, he got called on it. That's the 3rd seed already, as we are almost 4 minutes into the first period.
So essentially he's now been in the box, or we've had the jammer in the box, almost as many times as we've had minutes in this period.
That's right, not to be confused with Jack in the Box.
Nice shutout on the jammer. Radulac, however, he re-enters the pack, and the referee does call a minor, but he picks up 3 points. He got a minor for cutting the track.
Yeah, he got a cutting the track minor, but No Big Deal does make the pass. No Big Deal right now up against the 3-wall. Nice little hop skip to the inside where Scott Slamilton was going to be right there to meet him shoulder to shoulder. That'll be the end of that jam, and we are looking at a score of Puget Sound Outcasts 5, Massachusetts Maelstrom, the Mass Maelstrom 22.
Nice lead here by Massachusetts. That's we're 25 minutes, 6 seconds into the first period. We do have all the blockers on the track for the Puget Sound Outcasts.
Oh, guess who's jamming? It is Jack Hammond.
Big E Tall's working with Thunderstruck, Cougar Bait, and Corey Payne. Corey Payne, the pivot, he tries to get out in front of Jack Hammer. Big E Tall's, and then recycling up to try to stay out in front of him. Oh, nice hit by Corey Payne to the infield on Jack Hammer. That was beautiful. Corey moves then back to the back of the pack as Chuck Hendrick is released from the penalty box.
Okay, Jack Hammer he ends up going back to the back of the pack. He's now through. He's not lead jammer.
Because he got a cutting the track, because he made the choice to come back in front of Corey, who knocked him out.
And Chuck gets lead jam and calls it off, or is trying to fly.
747, the new number for Hollywood. Ryrod stand aside, Quadzilla, Scott Slamilton in the pack for the Puget Sound Outcasts as Speed Dealer donning the star. penalty is already an issue here.
Oh, yeah.
So Puget Sound's
and
they're going to have to contain that, especially on your jammer. And you just can't lose your jammer to the box.
Puget Sound, who has killed themselves with penalties all weekend long, unfortunately.
Oh, Stryker with a nice move and a hop on the apex as he pulls around Ryrod, number 14, to take lead jammer position for the Maelstrom.
Speed Dealer going to get through now as Stryker comes up through the back of the pack. Nice job of working Stryker to the outside.
Speed Dealer just racing up. Nice job by Stryker, though. He gets knocked out by Stand Aside and Quadzilla on turn 4. And he is forced to call it off as, you know, he sees the swiftness that is Speed Dealer coming up.
Well, and speaking of swiftness, I think one of the things that is the most incredible about men's derby is the speed in some of these teams is so rampant as far as being everybody is fast that you get knocked out of bounds by the guy who's blocking in the most rear position, and by the time you get back in, he's up front waiting for you.
Absolutely. Oh, nice move by Thunderstruck as he just powers his way around Mitochondria to take lead jammer position for the Outcast. Burt Reynolds now struggling to get around Ryrod. Corey Payne recycling then to join Gino Guerrero at the front with Radillac.
And Burt Reynolds going to get knocked out of bounds in turn 3 where he hits the floor. He's now knocked to the inside by Chuck Henrik.
Thunderstruck almost loses his footing, but he does get through for 5 points as he laps Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, we've seen that happen a couple of times this weekend. For some reason in turns 1 and 2 in particular, a couple of people have slid a little bit. Nobody's fallen.
Yeah, I've heard reports from the skaters that the floor is awfully dusty, and then it creates a lot of debris on your skates.
Sure.
Thunderstruck making his way for another scoring pass, puts 5 points on the scoreboard. That is going to increase the points on the board for Puget Sound Outcasts to 15. Mass Maelstrom at 21 minutes, 51 seconds left on the first period clock. It was a good run there for the Outcasts as they shut down that point gap. Yeah,
they start to close things up. Outcasts, as Chuck said, he's going to skate another time. He's not planning to lose. Nobody playing not to win at this point. Doesn't matter how far down the road you get. It's all about pride. This is a new team against a very veteran team, and the veteran team wants this.
Oh, huge takedown on Quadzilla. That was massive.
Yeah, it sure was. And the body that put him down was not that massive. And going backwards, that was Rotten Tail.
So both jammers now have cleared the pack. Quadzilla is the lead jammer. However, Western just riding it out there. Nice positional blocking by Quadzilla. Interesting touch, though, because we're, real early on, and sometimes burning down the clock doesn't really matter. It doesn't seem to matter right at the beginning. But they're in a point deficit currently. The Outcasts are, that is.
That's right. Oh, but Quadzilla he's going to ride him out. Now what he wants is those two guys, and there he does it.
So that's
I guess it works.
It did work out for him. And Quadzilla maneuvers so well on skates and has such a handle on the game itself.
He's okay.
He's all right. That he can make those kinds of decisions and take those kinds of risks because the payoff can then be a much better. That does bring Puget Sound Outcasts to 19. Mass Maelstrom sitting at 25 points.
And we're about 10 minutes in to the very first half.
Speed Dealer at the line once again for the Outcasts. He is going again.
That's no big deal out there again. And Speed Dealer is out there like somebody stamped on a packet of ketchup.
We were 2-on-2 in the pack, however, Radillac and Jack Hammer have both been released from the box. Jack Hammer is either going to make the decision to try to block Speed Dealer from the back there, and he is. He's going to work with Deep Insider.
I tell you, Jack Hammer probably responsible for the largest number of darn big hits all weekend long. He is a big, powerful, yet very fast and fairly agile guy.
Well, in that one of those initial games, he jumped the apex between turn 3 and turn 4 and cleared it and ended up clear across out of bounds. I mean,
it was amazing because
it was
of
like
a man.
Superman.
Yeah, this is a very large, muscular man, and all I could do was whoever put skate plates on him better get him as a spokesperson.
Corey Payne made it through really fast, quickly, right around turn 1, and quickly now re-engages the pack. He's going to try to get around the pivot Rottentail, but also Cilantro has cleared the pack as Mo Diesel and Biggie Tall's working at the back of the pack.
That's right, he's not Parsley, it's Cilantro. Don't get them mixed up. Easy to do. One simply a decorative plant, the other one actually a small honey. You know, because I try to educate. I try to bring just a little bit more to the lives of people who like to watch roller derby. And that is about as much culinary information as I actually know, other than how to microwave something. So and we're going to get the whistles there. We're going to get started.
3 points separating these teams. The Outcasts at 25. Mass Maelstrom at 28, and a lovely jump by Ryrod, number 14, for the Outcasts as he pulls through to take lead jammer status. Nice shutdown by Bonus Jonas on number 2, West Turn.
And West Turn caught behind Quadzilla.
I like that Rottentail is very clear. I'm the one that pushed you out.
And these guys from Mass, so happy to be here. They're so excited.
Ryrod gets forced out of bounds by Speeder Parker, and he calls off the jam. The points currently reading the Outcasts 25, Massachusetts 28. I'm curious to see if Ryrod actually put points on the scoreboard. There is a team timeout now being called for the Puget Sound Outcasts. Is that correct? It's for Massachusetts.
Sometimes, depending on where you're sitting, the direction of where the arm is pointing is a little hard to figure out.
It's true.
But we've got it straightened out. We can see now from that particular trajectory that she is pointing at Mass Maelstrom.
At Rydell, skate design, performance, comfort, and fit are challenged on a daily basis. So stop by their website to learn why their boots are the choice of top skaters all around the world.
Absolutely. Right, Al? I've heard of them.
I'm glad. It'd be a little strange if you hadn't.
Of them. They've been involved with roller derby for a few years.
They've been in business for 65 years, haven't they? Now an official timeout is indicated by the head ref mistrial.
We just want to make it, though, we want to make it very clear that Conan, the vegetarian himself, has not been involved for 65 years. Conan, who is here with us, he was with us everywhere. In fact, I think I've seen him so many times this year, I've hit that point where I got to send him a Christmas card.
Are you sure? Are you sure he's going to give you his address? Or are you going to have to send it to the business
I'll just
address?
send it to California. Conan the Vegetarian, California, USA. Oh, it'll get there.
That's right. It's just like all those letters to Santa.
Now, oddly enough, we have a league in the North Pole. I could maybe make contact with them and get it hand delivered. Oh. Because I'm not getting what I want.
You mean to Santa?
Yeah.
Not to Conan.
No, not to Conan. Conan ain't going to give me anything anyway. I'm figuring Santa Claus, give me what the heck I want, for God's sake. I know the girls up there, and they'll come kick your elf's butt.
Also, we have had, there's a point change now. Puget Sound Outcasts 28. Mass Maelstrom sitting at 29.
It's amazing those points that are scored when nobody's skating.
It's just an adjustment. 17 minutes, 15 seconds left.
Fixing your shorts is an adjustment. This was actually a score-keeping reconstruction.
Thank you for clarifying and definitely putting me in my place.
There you go. Well, just trying to educate once again. Bring a little more to the people. And, oh, look at that. Nice job by No Big Deal. He's going to underduck Bonus Jonas. He's going to be out in front.
Stand aside, going to stay on his skates as Deep Insider tries to connect with him. So he's throwing his initial pass. Thunderstruck and Hollywood now moving to the front of the pack to try to protect those points. There are two solitary blockers on the track.
Yeah, Bonus Jonas just got sent in.
There.
Chuck, I tell you, Chuck's still on his game. I didn't see Bonus Jonas got called with that contact. It looked like he went to block and there was an underduck. I didn't see what the call was.
And he's
Obviously, it was not a massive collision of any sort. So,
see, he's sitting with Speed Dealer in the penalty box. And
so what is Bonus Jonas? Is there a reason behind the name? Is he like the extra Jonas brother? Seriously.
I'm just going to let you wonder.
Oh, okay.
Because it'll drive you a little crazy.
No, it'll just make me say like a 100 things that, I'll get Facebooked about, and because I will guess. I think he's the extra bonus. I think he's the extra Jonas brother.
Fair enough.
Big fan.
So both Quadzilla and Eric, Quadzilla the captain and Eric the coach for Puget Sound Outcasts, now standing in the infield.
Yeah, they're having a discussion about something.
Bob's mom.
Hey. Now that's pushing.
We are going to get started once again. The point still sitting at Puget Sound Outcasts 28. Mass Maelstrom 29, 16 minutes, 25 seconds left in the first period. Scott Slamilton and Radillac now the two blockers on the track as Corey Payne is put in. Corey Payne is going to try to make his ring around Mitochondria, and he is successful, picks up lead jammer status as Burt Reynolds was recycled to the back by Radillac. Scotty Slamilton now in the front gets pushed out of the way by Wrench, number 24. Corey Payne muscling his way through, and he is able to push through as he gets around Wrench and to pick up 4 points. However,
he keeps going, though. Burt Reynolds has entered the pack at this point. Well, as it turns out, it works out okay because Burt takes a nice big hit from Radillac.
Corey's going to pick up a major backblock penalty, and this is now a power jam in favor of Burt Reynolds. This is an opportunity for Massachusetts to advance their slight lead. Oh, huge takedown by Scott Slamilton, the pivot. And he's going to be sent to the penalty box for that hit.
Well, Scott Hamilton trying to pull a triple Salchow on a guy is probably a bad idea.
Bonus Jonas released from the penalty box to join Radillac. Mitochondria, Speeder Parker, Wrench working in the pack for Maelstrom.
Oh, nice job there. Is that that Radillac up front on Speeder Parker.
Nice.
Takes him down. Or yeah. Burt Reynolds, sorry.
Burt Reynolds with 5 points on the scoreboard, increasing Massachusetts' lead to 39.
Oh, and that is an apex jump that doesn't quite land where you hoped. So he ends up cutting the track. He doesn't cut the track. He ends up going to the inside. He goes back around to avoid cutting the track.
Bonus Jonas comes in for a shoulder check. Doesn't make that connection soundly enough and isn't as forceful to push him on the inside.
Burt Reynolds right now, after getting jostled around, I think Burt Reynolds is probably pretty happy to go sit down for a few minutes.
Well, yeah, I think he's pretty comfortable with that. So once this is all done and we have our championship bout at 7 p.m., after that you could tune into 88.1 KDHX today and hear real DJs playing music you won't hear anywhere else. And they stream it all online at kdhx.org.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about radio and the internet is you can actually go and find places where you do hear DJs that don't have pre-programmed music.
Ryrod being forced to the infield. I believe that's Rotten Tail jamming for I'm actually incorrect.
That's cilantro.
It is.
Gets knocked into the ref staff.
It's Rotten Tail as the pivot.
Oh my goodness!
Huge takedown by Quadzilla.
Yeah, he doesn't like cilantro.
Oh, and again, Quadzilla staying in front of him. Scott Slamilton pushed him out of bounds.
Oh my! Cilantro has a huge collision with one of his own guys, and Ryrod or is that Gino that gets caught in the middle of that? Gino.
And we do have 5 points scored by Ryrod. We get a cutting the track penalty on Cilantro as he gets through on his initial pass. Ryrod trying to skirt around Belgian Awful to the inside.
I just love that name.
As he puts his hands to his hips and calls off the jam, but he does put some points on the scoreboard, so the Outcasts now at 39, Mass Maelstrom at 46, 12 minutes, 52 seconds left in the first period. You know what I like? I like Ringster.
You do?
I do.
And you know what? Don't spell that with a K for crying out loud.
Yeah, only spell with an X.
That's right.
Right.
RINXSTER.
Racer would like to extend thanks to all the volunteers who spend their time to make the game of roller derby into the wonderful sport it is.
And with that, Striker is going to take off. He is going to be your lead jammer for Mass Maelstrom. In the meantime, we've got number 4, Stand Aside.
Stand Aside is through on his initial pass.
And
Striker trying to make his way around Hollywood.
His brother Move Over, actually here to watch him today.
I think Stand Aside will approve that message.
Yeah, why not?
It
was a groaner, but, you know, it wasn't bad. Okay, we're going to see. Every time Jack Hammered goes out there, it just looks like, oh, my God, this isn't going to work. And yet he's so much fun to watch.
He is a lot of fun to watch, and he has a lot of personality on his skates. And truly and honestly, and he's definitely a crowd favorite in the building.
Oh, yes, there's no question. Especially when he climbed the glass after his jam.
Oh, beautiful move there by West Turn as he slices through the middle and really ekes in there. However, Speed Dealer is right on him, and Speed Dealer's going to try to overtake him right here, try to force him out. And
I think I know why they call him Speed Dealer.
Oh?
Yeah. Yeah, boy, he closed that gap in no time at all. But it was Jack Hammered who was able to allow the jammer to get through.
Radillac, Bonus Jonas in the pack with Stand Aside, number 4 for the Outcasts. Gino Guerrero sitting in the penalty box. Pardon me. Mycopathic Chiller is being released from the penalty box for the Maelstrom. Jack Hammered, Mitochondria working the back of the pack there. Jack Hammered now going to go try to break up the wall in front.
Well, Speed Dealer actually playing some defensive blocking there as he ends up going shoulder to shoulder with No Big Deal. Then just kind of dumps him off into the back of the defense and does what he does best, which is skate really fast in an oval.
That's twice in a row now that Stand Aside has taken on No Big Deal and knocked him out of bounds, and he's done a really good job at containing him until right at that moment.
Nice job there by No Big Deal though. He had lost control, turned around and spun it, but then
Bonus Jonas?
Is that it? The fourth Jonas brother? Yeah, ends up knocking him into the inside of the track. And they say, no, we don't like the way you did that, and so they send him to the penalty box.
We have a cutting the track major for Jack Hammered. So he's headed to the penalty box. The points now, 45 Puget Sound Outcasts, 47 Mass Maelstrom, 9 minutes, 38 seconds left in the first period clock here. If you just turned in, the Outcasts are in the blue and yellow.
And the Mass Maelstrom are in the blue and white. If you have a black and white television, we're not exactly sure how that translates, but the darker team would be Puget Sound.
So the lineup changed there a little bit at the end as Mo Diesel was on the track with Hollywood, and they switched in Corey Payne.
Oh, nice move by Stryker. And then a nice duck under at the very end. It looked like Corey Payne was going to get him.
Oh, Rotten Tail. Oh, goes in for a huge hit. And Slamilton sees it coming, and he just shoulders back into him and takes him out.
Yeah, really, really nice counter block by Scott Slamilton. As Cottontail had him dead to rights.
So 4 more points picked up for Mass Maelstrom, bringing them to 51 points. Puget Sound Outcasts at 45, 8 minutes, 46 seconds left on the first period clock. We are going to have Cilantro in as the jammer for Massachusetts. Quadzilla donning the star for the Puget Sound Outcasts.
Heard of him?
Today even. Maybe in the last several minutes. Bonus Jonas, Ryrod. No, I'm sorry, it's Cougar Bait, Ryrod, and Mo Diesel in the pack to support Quadzilla.
Oh, nice job of Quadzilla just plowing through the scrum start.
Cougar Bait with a nice force out on Cilantro, and he moves way back. Ryrod then sees that happening. Nice teamwork there by the Outcasts, staying on top of Cilantro. Cilantro skirts around Ryrod.
Oh, such a nice side skip step, but he lost his footing.
Quadzilla goes in and drops to one knee to slide near the back of the pack. Cilantro now getting taken out again by Cougar Bait, number 27.
Yeah. You know, we've all seen that side skip, or you know, like the Susie Hot Rod side skip, where it's, you know, enough to get you into the other lane and get through. He had a lot of air under that thing, and unfortunately, he doesn't stick the landing. Wipes out, and then Cougar Bait just roughs him up until things get stopped.
However, Mass Maelstrom still in the lead, 51. The Outcasts at 49. 7 minutes, 23 seconds left on the first period clock. The Outcasts going to put in Thunderstruck. Hollywood and Corey Payne trying to create some room. Biggie Talls gets in on the inside. It works out better for Wes Turn as he pulls through first for lead jammer status for the Mass Maelstrom.
Yeah, he found a hole. He found a hole out of there very quickly, pretty much untouched.
Jack Hammered fell to the court and was protecting his head. Wow. Whoa. Jack Hendrick.
Chuck's refusing help up from Corey Payne, just joking with him, and then finally pull it back up.
It's Jack Hammered standing there with his arms in the air. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I was not responsible.
Yeah. You'll know when I'm responsible because he'll be in the announcer's table.
Speed dealer.
And no big deal out there once again. I think he's a bigger deal than he thinks.
Oh,
jeez.
Oh, jeez. The 4-pack. 4 in the pack for the Outcasts. Really working well for Speed Dealer. Speed Dealer gets through. No big deal being contained by Scott Slamilton. And Guerrero stand aside. Now moving back with Scott Slamilton. Oh.
Quadzilla going to give an assist to Speed Dealer. He's going to get through the front. But Speed Dealer, he becomes lead jammer with a hole that was left totally open on that line.
Scott Slamilton heads to the penalty box. However, the Outcasts currently now in the lead with 59 points to Massachusetts 52. And advancing that lead by another 5 points. It's going to bring them to 64 points, Puget Sound Outcasts.
Well, and right here, a nice job by Stand Aside and Quadzilla of taking no big deal and just continually just kind of brushing him to the outside, and then they'll open up holes for Speed Dealer to come through on the inside.
The difference with this bout, however, is that a lot of penalty trouble for the Outcasts. When they played the Dallas Deception yesterday, not nearly as many penalties this early in the game, I do not believe. Mitochondria now hitting the penalty box for the Mass Maelstrom. We have Rotten Tail working with Speeder Parker racing the pack at the front, Quadzilla and Stand Aside in the pack for the Outcasts. No big deal, racing to catch up.
Well, that's going to be pretty tough at this rate the pack is skating. As they are trying to, as they go into defensive mode, Puget Sound, they start speeding things up.
Yes, I think Stan Aside felt pretty comfortable that he had knocked someone out of bounds. And so he maintained position right on the straightaway. But the refs did not agree with that or did not see it.
Or there was nobody there.
Could be.
Yeah, I know.
I thought refs
one too many hits.
Everywhere.
You could start to see people every place. And Hollywood Chuck Henrik out there one more time. He's standing right next to Jack Hammered. And that's what I like about Chuck. You know what Chuck's afraid of? Not a damn thing.
Nice move by Bonus Jonas in the pack, taking down Rotten Tail, the pivot. Striker trying to make his way around Bonus Jonas. Jack Hammer comes in and assists with that.
Yeah.
Ryrod is through the pack as the lead jammer for the Puget Sound Outcasts. Scotty Slamilton getting knocked out.
Oh, Jack Hammer just drops.
And Rontel with another beautiful escort to the infield on Ryrod.
Oh, Ryrod got dropped like a 3-foot putt. You would have thought he ran into a wall. He did, a wall of large man.
3 minutes, 25 seconds left in the second period. Puget Sound Outcasts now at 68 points. Mass Maelstrom at 52 points. So the Outcasts moving forward with that slight lead.
I see where Jack Hammer apparently was assessed a penalty for that hit that he put on Ryrod. Although I don't know if he put a hit on Ryrod. I think he just stood there.
Dropped an anvil on.
But you know what? You know, the thing that he has been doing is he's been skating backward and then making, I'm wondering if they're not counting it calling like a clockwise walk on him when he comes to a pretty close to a halt and then lets people run into him. I've seen him do that before, and I've wondered about the legality of that. You can lean against somebody skating backwards, but you cannot strike them. You can get struck, however.
Western gets through for several points. We'll just go with that.
Yeah, I don't see points lifted for both teams at the moment, but the scoreboard would tell us that it's 68-54. 2:15 left to go in this first half. It's been really a terrific bout.
Absolutely. Hollywood being fielded again for the Puget Sound Outcasts. Speed Dealer and Chuck Hendrick. I'll try to drop to, and he wasn't quite in time, so Hendrick is trying to.
Chuck up like, well, guys, I'm kind of back here. Oh, my.
Huge takedown, stand aside. But, Hollywood trying to stay on one skate only as he forced the striker out. He tried and lost it.
The striker's going to get around, but then he's going to get caught by, is that Speed Dealer?
That is Speed Dealer.
And that was a legal hit, and he's going to get another one just for, just to make sure from Quadzilla, but they're not going to stop him. Oh, man. And now the blockers are taking a beating.
Yes. Skeeter Parker actually hitting the track and then holding his jaw once he got up, sort of readjusting his jaw there. Well,
jaw's a horrible thing to waste.
10 points now separating these teams, with the Outcasts at 68, Mass Maelstrom at 58, 1 minute, less than 1 minute on the period clock.
And I think Mass Maelstrom right here getting a taste of what really, really brutal derby is like. Oh, man. We saw Puget Sound and the Misfits play yesterday, and even though the Misfits wanted to move on, Puget Sound, and I give Misfits credit. That's not they were a powerful team, but it's not their style of play, of choice, and yet they hammered back, and Puget Sound got themselves into penalty trouble. The Misfits had won, but that had to be one of the most brutal, hard-hitting games I've ever seen. You could the bodies just slapping to the floor, that sound. It was a Slayer kind of weekend with the bodies dropping.
Ryrod looking for a window there around Jackhammer. Jackhammer just forcing him to the infield. Radilak trying to contain, no big deal. He's forced to allow him to go as he doesn't want to incur blocking out a play penalty. Ryrod again still struggling. We're going to get a minor cutting the track penalty on Ryrod.
And Ryrod stuck at the back of the pack. For a second, decides he's going to play defensively, but he was too late to get there. No big deal. Was able to not only get by him, but the entire pack.
And Chuck Hendrick is sitting in the penalty box again.
That's a good call. That was a back block. And that's going to be on number 67.
Mo Diesel. 67 liters.
He got Mo back than he was supposed to.
No pass, no penalty.
And no big deal. Is going to call off the jam.
And that's going to be...
That puts us at... that's going to be the end of the first half.
And we're going to have the Puget Sound Outcasts picking up a last-minute 3 points, so they're going to be at 71. Mass Maelstrom at 66. And the period clock had come to its end, so we will now head into...
We'll call it halftime.
We will call it halftime.
Yeah, it's going to give you about 15 minutes. Why don't you go get yourself something to eat, go walk the dog, go to the store, use the bathroom, wash the dishes, whatever it is you got to do so that you can be back in 15 minutes to watch the end of this very close game with me, Bob Notches, and her, Ms. Spider.